Hey, so how to create a bite-sized digital product to build your brand. I am super excited to share this because in the last 18 months, so I launched my first kind of bite-sized offer 18 months ago, and it's been an absolute game changer for my business in lots of different ways. I think initially I felt it was filling a small gap that I didn't have. I had this one-on-one services and I had a high-end program, but I didn't have anything at that lower end. So for me initially, it was like, let's fill that gap with something. But then the trickle-on effect of this is how much it has built my brand. And if you know me or have been around me for a while, you know how passionate I am about building your brand. And this type of bite-sized offer can really help you build your brand and build your revenue. So I'm going to take you through why building your brand is more important than anything else in your business, exactly how a bite-sized offer can help propel your brand at lightning speed, how to engineer a winning bite-sized offer in 3 easy steps, then crunching the numbers, and I'll show you inside my own bite-size offer and the numbers and the conversions and all the nitty-gritty. Some ideas and examples for creating your own offer, the tools and tech that you need to launch your own bite-size offer, and then we'll have a Q&A. So round about now, I probably tell you a story about how I fell in love with branding and why brand is so important. But as this is a workshop, I just want to get really into the nuts and bolts of things for you. Essentially, brands bring in more revenue. Brands that are known, brands that have exposure and visibility can bring in up to 31% more revenue than unknown brands. They're also hugely profitable when it comes to looking at brands out there. If you're thinking of a personal brand, it could be someone like Marie Forleo, it could be Richard Branson, it could be a Nike. They are more profitable compared to businesses without a strong brand. And 78% of customers who repeat purchase from a brand they have experienced. So that's really, really important as well, because when it comes to building your own brand, one of the most important things is to create lifelong customers and extend that customer lifetime value. Or could you put yourself on mute? Is that okay? Can you still hear me? Perfect. It's not, just about getting people in the door. It's about keeping people long term. You need a way to nurture people, so that they're customers for the long haul. And I have found that creating a bite-sized offer has been the perfect, way to do this in my own business. So what is the recipe for brand growth? Because people talk about building a brand in lots of different ways, and brand is a word that's kind of thrown around as well. It's thrown around in that kind of nebulous, like, what does it really mean to have a brand, to build a brand? When it comes to building your brand, there's 4 key elements. So number 1 is clarity. So being visible and cutting through the noise. So to do that, you have to have a really clear brand position and message. And you need to get out there and be visible consistently and able to cut through the noise and cut through everything else that's going on. The second thing you need is credibility. You need to be able to establish your authority and your expertise. The third thing is connection. So you've got to create trust and relationships. Brands are built upon connection. So you can't have a strong brand without having those relationships. And then finally, and most importantly, customers, because you've got to make sales and you've got to make repeat sales. So if you don't have one of these 4 pieces working, if you've got clarity on who you are, but you don't have any credibility, if you've got great connection, but you're not turning that connection into customers, if one of these 4 aspects of your brand is broken, then things don't work. And the reason I absolutely love a bite-size offer is because it ticks all these 4 boxes. First of all, clarity, because putting a bite-sized offer out there that's accessible to a lot of people taps into what we call in psychology the mere exposure effect, which is really the more familiar we become with someone, the more we like them. The more often we see something, the more likely we are to buy it. You know, the more it pops up into our news feed, into our kind of sphere of visibility, the more we are likely to engage and to buy from that person. And we all know that from seeing our own Facebook feeds. There's always those popular entrepreneurs that you seem to see all the time. And the perception when you see somebody all the time of them being visible must be, therefore they are successful, therefore it leads into credibility. So having a bite-sized offer that can, you know, be accessible by lots of people, not just a small, you know, group of your audience, means that you're going to get increased visibility. It also shortcuts that credibility step, because it's really difficult if you're selling one-on-one services, high-end programs, or even a high-priced product. It could be anything from, you know, being a hypnotherapist, or it could be you're a photographer and you want to sell people really high-end packages, or it could be that you're a coach, or you have a skincare product and your skincare products are really expensive. Having that bite-sized offer come in at the early stage gives you authority and expertise. So it really kind of trickles out. It shortcuts that part where people aren't really sure if you're the right person, because putting something in front of them and them experiencing your brand gives you that instant credibility. The third thing is the connection, which is super, super important, because the nurture process with, you know, customers can be quite lengthy if you're selling a high-end program. And by having something bite-sized, you shortcut that really long process and you build connection instantly. So by them experiencing some kind of digital bite-sized offer, they feel like they know you. They feel like they've got to know you and experience your brand before they invest further. And then finally, commitment. So you're playing on this law of consistency and commitment. So you've got a customer, and one small yes to that micro offer leads to bigger yeses down the line. And this is proven, you know, time and time again in sales and in psychology, that if you can get people to say yes to something small, later on, they're more likely to say yes to something big. So a bite-sized offer ticks all of these 4 boxes. And who does it really work for? Because I get this question quite often. I've got, you know, well, I sell one-on-one services, so how could I have a bite-sized offer? I will explain that in detail when we get further into the presentation. But if you're selling one-to-one services, if you want to book out your practice, consultancy, or coaching business, you can definitely use a bite-sized offer on the front end to help you do that. If you're selling a group program, coaching, mentoring, or a done-for-you offer, you can use a bite-sized offer on the front end. And if you're selling high ticket offers, a mastermind, a program, a retreat, again, you can still use a bite-sized offer on the front end. And I'll go into all the details on how you can do that. So why create a bite-sized offer? Because a lot of people say to me, well, it seems like quite a lot of effort, but creating a signature offer is a huge undertaking. And it's usually only suitable for a small segment of your audience. And what I quite often see when people start creating a signature offer for their business is they get stuck, because there's so much that goes into this flagship offer that quite often people stick in that kind of spinning the wheels phase. They start to build it out like module by module or step by step for a 6-month program that they might be selling. And they can spend 6 months umming and ahhing about it. The next thing is, to fill a signature program, you need to grow your email list. You need to grow your visibility and authority. And if you're doing this with just a freebie and then a set launch period, say once every quarter, your growth can be really slow, and it can also be really expensive, because you're paying for leads, no doubt, by doing some kind of Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, YouTube, whatever kind of advertising you might be doing. You're paying for leads, but you're not getting that money back until you're in a launch phase. And in between launching and growing your list can be sometimes quite a long period of time to be not getting that return on investment. And if you're growing your list only organically, then it's even slower to fill a signature program. So a bite-sized offer can bring in sales so that you can offset the cost of acquiring the right type of leads or even make a profit. And it means that your email list grows fast, which means more buyers for your higher end programs, and also means a higher conversion rate for your higher end programs. So if you get somebody onto your email list for free and they don't buy anything in between that freebie and then you offering them your high end or your signature offer, your conversion rate is likely to be less than if you've sold them something in between. If you've sold them something in between, like a bite-sized offer, which is a really high value, and they've experienced a transformation, experienced a result, and they've got to know you, then when it comes to your higher end program, there's already trust established. So they're more likely to buy that program. So it gives you a higher conversion rate as you go through your funnel, which is great because we all, that's a holy grail of marketing, is getting higher conversion rates. So I just want to kind of show you what growth can look like typically if you've got a lead magnet and a launch method. So like I explained, having some kind of freebie, so it could be your quiz, it could be a checklist, it could be any kind of lead magnet that you launch, and then you have in between that, you might have, 2 or 3 launches a year of your signature program. So you can see the graph at the bottom starts at 0 and it goes up to 3,000. So you might have a spurt of people join your email list between January and February while you're promoting your freebie. And then that might plateau for a little while. And then it might go up again. And then you might launch something. And after you've launched, you might plateau because you're not promoting for a while. You might plateau again. And then it might creep up again. And then you might have another launch and then it plateaus, and so on and so forth. So between January and December, maybe you've grown your list by, say, 3,000 people. And you've got these extremely long nurture processes in between, in which time your list can go a bit stagnant because they might want the problem solving outside of your launch period. So if you haven't offered them a solution, they're very likely to then be looking at somebody else who has offered them a solution at the time that they want it. But what growth looks like with a bite-sized offer, and you can see here in the corner, we've got 0, and in the top, we've got 10,000, is consistent daily growth of buyers and evergreen sales that increase your list size exponentially and increase your revenue and increase the sales into your higher end program. Ultimately, you can build your list for free or, there or thereabouts. You can increase your profits, your revenue, and your impact with a bite-sized offer. Now, I've done this for myself, and I didn't want to do this workshop until I had 18 months of solid proof that this really worked for me. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways in which you can do this, because I'm not one of those people that believes in a one size fits all. There's quite a few programs out there that will teach you only one way to approach this bite-size offer. And I'm going to show you 2 ways that I've split tested myself and that I've approached selling this bite-size offer, and both have worked for me. That means that both could work for you, or one could work better than the other. So I'm going to show you both and explain them both in detail. So approach number 1 is having your opt-in. So this was my quiz on brand attraction factor. So I had an ad on Facebook and Instagram that led to my quiz. Then I had a quiz opt-in page. People took the quiz. And then on the thank you page, this is where I offered my bite-sized offer. So whilst they were waiting for their results to go to their inbox, I had a wait, one more thing. You might be ready to jump into XYZ program. Here is a limited time discount, and here is the offer. So rather than just saying, here are your results, and then waiting to nurture them, say, for the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months till I launch something bigger, I gave them the opportunity to buy something on that thank you page. Now, the other way in which I've done it is straight to the sales page. Now, you've probably seen this a lot on Facebook in the last 12 months. There's lots of these bite-sized offers popping up. And the strategy here is to send cold or warm traffic directly to a sales page. So you're not hiding the fact that you're sending them to something that they're going to buy. You'll see in my ad copy here, it says right at the bottom, grab it now for $27. It explains what it is. They know they are, going to be sold something. So it's not like they get to that page expecting it to be free and then click away because it's, not a freebie. The post in the for the ad you'll see here is pretty much like a mini sales page, and I've split tested both long form copy and short copy when I've been doing these. But really you're cutting out the freebie in this way. So there's two funnels, one where you start with the freebie and one where you just start going directly to the sales page. I have used both of these and I've used them both successfully. I found with some people, the going straight to sales page has been much more profitable for them. And then with other people, using the freebie first has been more profitable. So I do recommend split testing. So with my own funnel, I have some traffic that goes to my quiz, and then they get offered on the thank you page, they get offered stories that sell, and I have some that go straight to the sales page. And I look at the conversions of both and the costs of the leads for both and the customers, and then I can tweak and amend based on which is working the best for me. So now you've seen the two different approaches, let's talk about what a bite-sized offer actually is. And I want to take you through the winning components of a bite-sized offer, because it is pretty strategic. It's not just a case of flinging something up there for a low price and, you know, hoping to hell that everybody buys it. There is a strategy around it. There are steps. It may at first look like a lot, but it's pretty simple when you break it down into these bite-sized chunks. And I'll explain everything to you. And then at the end, we'll do a Q&A. So if you've got any questions for me, just, you know, fire away and I'll answer everything for you. So essentially, a bite-sized offer is a low investment digital product or service that's between, say, $17 and $47 in price. And it plays to problem-aware customers. I'll explain exactly what I mean by that in a moment with the diagram. So you're driving traffic, so you get consistent daily views of your offer, either via paid Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, or if you've got great organic traffic and social media, through your organic traffic and social media. Within your bite-sized offer, you include something called an order bump, an upsell or a downsell as part of the funnel. And the idea around this is to maximize your average order value. So what starts off as potentially a $17 sale or a $47 sale ends up much higher, because a certain percentage of people will buy an order bump and an upsell. And then the final piece is you have an email nurture sequence to move people from being a customer of your bite-sized offer up to your signature offer. And you also move people that may not have bought your bite-sized offer but are now on your email list up to your signature offer. So you get two great groups of people that you can target, not just the people that have downloaded a freebie, but the people that have downloaded a freebie and the people that have already bought your bite-sized offer. So the goals of your bite-sized offer. It really is the first step on the ladder towards your signature offer and your brand solution. So this is essentially, you know, one step that people can take before they sign up for your big, meaty signature offer or solution. It's got to be really quick for your customer to consume. So they should be able to consume your bite-sized offer in between kind of 4 to 6 hours, no more. It solves an immediate and specific singular problem and delivers a tangible result. And I've really put an emphasis on singular here, because this bite-sized offer should not be trying to solve lots and lots of problems. It's very specific to a singular type of problem. It's also a natural way for your ideal customers to experience your brand and for that trust to be built that leads them to want more. And then finally, it liquidates your lead costs or even makes you a profit. And I'll show you with all the statistics and all the conversion and number crunching exactly how it does that. So what are the components of your bite-sized offer? So step one, you've got your main offer. So like I said before, it's a painkiller solution. It's something that's easy for people to say yes to, and it it helps them gain something. So it could be time. It saves something, which could be money, and avoid something, which could be, you know, avoid, for example, staring at a blank screen and not knowing what to write. The second piece of this bite-size offer is what we call a bump order. So a bump order is intrinsically linked to your main offer, and it's something that makes it easier or faster, or it enhances the results of your main offer. So it's something that's kind of a no-brainer for people to say yes to, that helps them with that first offer. The upsell expands upon your offer by solving the next problem. So it's really congruent with the journey you want your customers to take. And then the downsell order, and you don't have to have all of these components at once. So just in case you're worrying, hang on a minute, this seems like a lot of different offers I'm going to have. You can start with just a main offer and a bump order. And then as you start to grow your audience and see sales coming in, you can then add in an upsell, and you can then add in a downsell. A downsell is just a scaled down version of your upsell. So it's perhaps just one component, the meatiest and the most desirable one for people who didn't take you up on the upsell, but it gives them kind of one last chance to experience something. So in my particular funnel, when I launched my funnel 18 months ago, I just originally had a main offer and a bump order for about a month. Then I introduced an upsell order. And then after about 6 months, I introduced a downsell order. So I didn't do absolutely everything at once. I tested and I validated my offer first. I made sure I was getting buyers. I made sure I was getting customers. I made sure I got feedback on what more they wanted, what they were struggling with. I used my Facebook group to poll people, to ask questions. You know, I really did lots and lots of customer testing and research. And then I had my upsell order and my downsell offer. So let me take you through each of these steps and how we create them. So let's talk about your offer ladder. You need to clarify your customer value ladder. And what I mean by that is, if we go from the top down, what specific and acknowledged market need does your signature offer or your brand solve? What is your brand here to do? So what is that market need you fill, and how do you help people specifically? How would you phrase that as a question? And what is the first step on the road to solving that question? So let me give you an example. Like the specific and acknowledged market need that my brand solves is, people say, I want to be able to build my brand, stand out, and make more sales. So that's how they would say it in a question. How do I build my brand, get more customers, and make more sales? Now, what's the first step on the road to solving that question? So if I went in with my signature offer, the brand fame funnel formula, that's a really meaty piece that teaches them everything around building this bite-sized offer, building their brand, getting leads, converting leads, all the different pieces. But that's not a great starting point. So one step to help people on the road to building their brand is to start to get visible. And how can they do that? Through social media. So that's one very specific step on the road to solving the problem of building their brand, is how do I become more visible on social media? So when we think about designing a bite-sized offer, the most important thing, and this is where I see a lot of people go wrong, so I really want to hammer this home, one of the most important things is you're designing your offer for the right stage of customer awareness. Now, this pyramid here shows you the 5 stages of customer awareness. It's by Eugene Schwartz. It's a very age-old marketing kind of diagram that you may be familiar with it, but it's been around, it's as old as the hills, and it basically segments customers through their journey. So at the bottom, you've got customers who are unaware they have a problem. So let's take, say you are pitching weight loss, and maybe you've got a keto diet solution, right? So at the bottom, they're unaware potentially that they even have a problem, that the food they're eating is contributing to how they're feeling, how they're looking. They're just completely unaware that it could be food and diet related. The second stage of people are problem aware. So they're aware that they've got potentially low energy, they've gained too much weight, they know they need to do something about it, but they're not exactly sure what. The next stage of people are solution aware. So they know they have that problem and they're aware of a few different solutions out there. They're aware that potentially they could do a keto diet, maybe they could join Weight Watchers, maybe they could have hypnosis, maybe they need to work on their mindset. There's a few different things. Maybe it's, you know, vitamins and supplements. In this section of people, they're both, you know, they're solution aware. So they're thinking about what solution might be right for them. The next step up is product aware. So they're very, at this stage, very specific around what product they might choose to solve that problem. And at the top, these are people who are already your customers. They're aware of your product, your solution, their problem, and how you help them because they are already customers of yours. So your bite-sized offer wants to play into this big segment of people in the middle that are aware they've got a problem and potentially aware of a few solutions out there, but might not necessarily be aware of your solution. This gives you an ability to reach more people, so reach more of a mass market, also solve a very specific problem with a very specific solution. So it gives you a really easy way to pitch your product at the right stage of awareness. So like I said, where bite-sized offers go wrong, and I've seen people try and create them and say, oh, it's flopped. Usually it's because they haven't focused on one singular problem. They've tried to attack lots of different problems. So maybe they've gone in with a solution, which is how to do live stream video and how to do a webinar and how to do this at the same time. And it's too many problems trying to be solved all at once. Or the process to solve the problem is quite long or complicated. And this needs to be bite-sized and quick to consume. So it needs to be a singular problem and a really quick way to get a result. The third thing is the problem may not be painful enough, or the desire for the outcome isn't strong enough. And I have been guilty of this before. I have thought that the problem that my customer has is super, super painful, but actually it's something else that's more painful to them. And the desire for the outcome wasn't strong enough for the offer that I put together. And it was just a case of not necessarily changing what was in the program, but changing how I positioned that offer so that it answered the problem that was really painful for my customer. So I want you to think about reverse engineering your offer ladder, starting at the very top with your signature offer and working back to your bite-sized offer. So like I just explained to you in that example with my stories that sell, you want to think about the overarching problem that your brand or your signature offer solves for people, and then go right back to the beginning. What is one chunk, one problem that you could solve for people, that would open a loop and take them on the next step in the journey. So it solves that problem, they feel satisfied that they've solved a problem, but then it opens a loop onto the next problem in the journey and leads them closer towards your signature offer. So let me give you a few tips on how to do this. First of all, you want to, like I said before, clarify the specific and acknowledged market need that your signature offer solves. Phrase it as a question, and then brainstorm a whole heap of steps, and then write down just one. What could one step be? The most painful step, the most tangible step to solve that problem. So when it came to stories that sell, I found that I did a brand quiz, my brand strength quiz, and the number one problem that people had, no matter what stage they were at in their business, so whether they've been in business for 5 years or they've been in business for 6 months, they all said that creating content consistently and compelling content was a complete pain for them. For some people, it was because they don't know how to write. For some people, it was because they didn't have time. For some people, it was just because the whole process was really overwhelming of marketing their business. And so I knew that that was a really acknowledged and specific need. Before that, I had been pitching things at kind of a higher level, talking about this whole brand message piece, which for some people just felt a bit too intangible. When I boiled it down to being around content and really solving one specific problem, it helped people on lots of stages of their journey. So it helped the newbie who wasn't really sure how to talk about what they did, how to get content out there consistently. But it also helped the experienced business owner that may have a team and want to give something to their team to plug and play because they just didn't have the time to create consistent content. So ask yourself the question, what do they think they need help with right now? And this is really, really important, that it's what they think they need help with and not what you think they need help with. Your solution might give them what they need, but it has to be what they want. Again, I'm totally transparent that I have made this mistake before, like I said to you, in giving them what I think they need, but it wasn't what they think they needed. And that can just be a case of repositioning. I'm not saying you have to rework an offer, but think about, what do they say in their own words that they need help with right now? So let's go through a couple of examples of how you might reverse engineer this offer. Just give me 1 second to have a quick sip of water. Okay, so we have Denise Duffield-Thomas. I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with her. She is a manifestor and a money coach, and her brand and her purpose is around making money and changing the world, helping women in particular make money so that they can change the world. So when you look at her offers, at the very, very top, she has her money boot camp. So this is her, I think it's a 6-week program. It's her flagship offer. She launches it a few times a year. I think you can get in a couple of other times. It's a couple of $1,000s by memory. And that is her flagship offer. Now, I don't know actually if she has a bite-sized offer, but I'm going to just show you how I would engineer this. If you look at the question that money bootcamp offer solves, it solves the problem of how do I, manifest money, get control of my money and make more money as a business owner. So it's aimed at people who own businesses. Now, there are many pillars within that program. I think she's got pillars around mindset. She's got pillars around changing beliefs. There's lots of different pillars that fit within that program, which is really, really meaty. If she was to have a bite-sized offer, and as I said, I'm not sure if she does or she doesn't have a bite-sized offer. This is just a marketing example. She could have something at the beginning, which could be a simple money mindset makeover. So it could be one really simple thing that flips the switch, that changes a core belief that she knows most of her audience have around money. It could be one simple technique, skill, tip that she teaches in her big signature offer that solves a problem for people straight away and gets them on that journey. And then in the middle, she could have another offer, which could be, okay, now they've revamped their mindset. Let's get them to make 10K in 10 days. And it could be a program all around helping business owners make 10K in 10 days. And then at the top, obviously, she's got that signature offer of her money bootcamp. When you look at my brand, obviously, I help personality fueled brands uncover their advantage, get visible, and make impact. At the top of my ladder is a signature offer called Brand Fame Funnel Formula. At the bottom is Stories That Sell. Now, the Stories That Sell, as I said, is a bite-sized offer that introduces people to telling stories on social media, email, and blog to better connect with their audience, to increase their visibility and make more sales. Now, embedded into Stories That Sell is how to create your own brand story and how to get clear on your message. But I don't sell that program as how to create a magnetic message, because that was not what my customers told me that they wanted. It is what I give them inside Stories That Sell, but what they said to me in their own words was, I don't have time to create content. I don't know what to say in my emails and social media so that I stand out. I don't know how to write content that converts. So Stories That Sell answers that one simple problem and then when they have had that problem solved, when they now know how to talk on social media, express their brand story, the next thing is, okay, how do I generate more leads into my business, position my brand as the authority, and create more sales? And that's where I introduce the brand power quiz method. So we've started with content, then we're going into getting more leads, and then at the top is the meteor signature offer. So the next step in this process for you is to decide on your bite-sized offer solution. So once you've answered those questions of what they need help with right now, you've reversed engineered it and looked at your signature offer, working back down to a bite-sized offer, you need to decide on this bite-sized offer solution. So let me tell you a few ways in which you can do this. First of all, you need to answer the question, what does your bite-sized offer help people save, gain, or avoid? How can you deliver an outstanding brand experience through this offer that leaves people wanting more? You need to price it at a complete no-brainer decision. So between $17 and $47, right? Which is, for most people, the cost of a meal out. So it's not going to break the bank. They don't have this fear of making a mistake if they, make that choice and it's not right for them. It's a no-brainer decision. It solves an immediate and painful problem for the majority of your audience, and it leads naturally into your higher priced offer and your signature offer. So let me take you through my bite-sized offer and behind my bite-sized offer as an example. So how did it help people save something? It helped my audience save time writing high converting content, which enabled them to gain more followers and customers and avoid staring at a blank screen or putting off building your brand. So I want you to write down the words save, gain, and avoid so you can work out what your bite-sized offer is going to do to help people save something, gain something, or avoid something. The next step was around that brand experience. So I made sure that what I packed into stories that sell delivered more than some memberships deliver at $97 a month. And I've had that feedback time and time again from people who have emailed me and said, I joined a content subscription service. You have given me more value in this $27 than I had in, a $97 a month program. I made it an easy decision. So like I said, between $17 and $47. At $27, it's not a difficult decision for people to make. They don't and ah over it for weeks. They don't need to have a sales call. They don't need to see lots more. It's easy for them to make a decision. As I also said, it solves a problem that most of my audience have. So whether they're starting out or scaling their business, being consistent with your content and writing stories and creating storytelling experiences is a challenge for a lot of people. And then it leads naturally into the next problem I solve around attracting more leads with a quiz and further positioning your brand as the expert. So, as I said, write down how you're going to save, gain, and avoid, how you will deliver value, what your price point will be between that 17 and 47, what problem it will solve, and how that kind of casts the net and catches as many of your audience as possible. And then what next? What is the problem? Once you've solved that problem for people, what's the next problem you will solve for them? Step 3 is to decide on a bump order. So an order bump happens on the checkout page right before someone clicks buy now. So I've given you an example on the right side here. So when people are on my sales page or on any sales page for a bite-sized offer and they click, yes, I'm ready, or yes, buy now, what happens is they go to a checkout page and they're asked to enter their contact information. When they enter their contact information, they also get offered in this little box a bump order. So the decision is made as they make the main purchase by the simple click of a button. So they don't have to enter their details twice. They don't have to do lots of complicated things. It's a simple tick of a box. So this enhances that customer excitement and increases your average order value. And there's a two-step checkout for two reasons. One, obviously for this bump order, but two, they could enter their contact information and their email address. They could click, yes, I want to add this content explosion method, go to step two, and then they could chicken out and say, oh, or get busy. And something happens, they put their phone down, they forget that they were buying something, or that they're not 100% sure, they want to go back and do a little bit of research first. Any of those things could happen, but you have now captured their name and their email address, so they are on your email list. You would tag them in your email list saying they abandoned cart, and then you can nurture them with emails to then buy the program further down the track. So it gives you a double whammy. You collect their email addresses, and also that bump on that page is a really simple click of a button and increases that order value. Now, what's the psychology behind a bump order, and how should you design your bump order? The way you think about this is, what can you offer that makes it faster, easier, or enhances the result of your main offer? So this shouldn't be a totally different offer. It shouldn't be something that is a new problem that you're now solving. It shouldn't be something that is disconnected from that first offer. It really is value stacking your main offer. It needs to be an easy yes, so it can be priced either $10 below or $10 above your main offer. And you can mess around with this pricing until you get the right kind of conversions. It might be that you start out $10 below and you're getting a really high conversion rate, so you can bump that price up. It might be that you start out higher and you need to reduce the price to get more people buying. You will always, with these funnels, test and tweak them. But the most important thing is that you make this particular bump offer, makes it faster or easier, or enhances the results of your main offer. I want you to think about this in a way that doesn't overwhelm you. So potentially there is something that you could take out of your main offer and turn into a bump order. So you could take something out of that core offer and put it as a bump. So you're not actually creating two products, you're just kind of taking something out of the main offer that you've already created, which makes it easier for you. But if you're just starting out with a bite-sized offer, these are the two pieces that I would start with straight away. I wouldn't miss having a bump order, because your order value will be too low for you to recoup your cost of any advertising. So always start with a main offer and a bump order. And as I said, you can add in your upsells and downsells later, but these two first offers are crucial. It's also crucial that it's one click, and I'll talk about the tech around that later. And it's a really easy decision. You'll see if I go back to that page that there isn't much space for text when it comes to a bump order. So it needs to be really benefit driven, very, very punchy, and very concise. So with this one, you can see I first of all answer a question. Do you want the easy way to be seen everywhere without adding more to your to-do list? So most people want their content to go further, but they don't want to have to do more work. And then I tell them what it is, what it's going to do for them, plus what they'll get as a bonus. Right, step 3, deciding on your upsell. So the upsell, or sometimes it's called a one-time offer, happens after your customer has completed their checkout experience. So they've added in their name, their email, they've clicked yes or no to your bump order, then they've added in their credit card details or clicked PayPal to pay, and then usually you would get a thank you page which says thank you for your order. You replace the thank you page with an upsell page. So if you've been through my bite-sized offer, or anyone else's out there, you'll notice that you'll get this one-click upsell page, which means for your customer to say yes to this offer, they don't have to add in their credit card details again. So on the right-hand side here, you can see my email vault example. And this is plays as the thank you page. It says at the top, wait, your order is not yet complete. So it lets them know they've still got to do something else. It shows that checkout's at 50%. And then if they scroll down, they get the opportunity to click a button and add this to their order for another $77, or they get an opportunity to click no. If they completely X out of this page and just leave now, they have still purchased their first offer and potentially the bump. and you've still captured their details. They just haven't bought this offer. So they don't have to do anything on this page at all. It's still captured the first part of the checkout. But if they do click yes to add this on, it just adds it to their order without them having to add their credit card details again. And then they get the final thank you page. So the psychology behind an upsell. A one-click upsell should open a loop and highlight the next problem that you can help them solve. So it shouldn't make them feel regret for buying your main offer. So what I mean by that is you shouldn't put something in there as an upsell that they think they should have got in that first offer. So you shouldn't go, oh, so for example, with stories that sell, I shouldn't have then said, oh, you know, now get your brand story template and how to tell your brand story, when they were like, well, shouldn't I be getting that in the first step? What it needs to do is actually open a loop to highlight the next problem you can help them solve. So with stories that sell, we've talked about content that converts on social and on blogs and in video. And now I say to them, but hey, once you get people off social and into your email, you want the right kind of emails to send people. And writing those emails from scratch can be really hard work. So here, grab a stack of 47 email templates that will help you write emails for your list and convert those people that you've got off social media and onto your list into sales. So it's essentially the next step. It's a new problem. It doesn't make them feel regret for buying stories that sell. It brings to the front of their mind what else they need to do, and it shows them how easy it can be. And the pricing strategy for this is between $67 and $97. So your main offer is like 17 to 27. Your bump order is usually, 17 to 37. Your bump order will be $10 above or below that. And then your upsell or one-time offer would be $67 or $97, anywhere between that. Having a bite-sized offer on autopilot, I can't stress how amazing this has been for my business, because the one really big benefit for my brand has meant that I am always visible, even if I'm not blogging or sharing on social every day. So as I explained, I've just had, family emergency with my daughter having an accident. I really was not present on social media for those 2 weeks. I wasn't kind of showing up on Facebook. I wasn't doing much, but having constant traffic running to my bite-sized offer has meant that I'm still visible. I'm still out there, and my brand is still being seen, and my brand is still growing. So let's get into the numbers of making this all work, because again, this is one of the places that people go wrong, and one of the reasons that people abandon ship and say to me, this didn't work for me. And it's usually a number of factors. There's a few things that when people say a bite-sized offer hasn't worked for me. And it's usually down to, number one, traffic. You need a certain amount of people to see an offer for it to convert. And I'll explain that in the conversion numbers in a second. Two, it's probably around that problem. It's not solving one painful specific problem. Three, it's in the copy. So they've got a great offer that solves a really, specific and painful problem, but the copy isn't compelling. The copy isn't doing the work on the sales page. Or four, they just haven't got the pricing strategy right. So they've priced it either too high or too low, or they're offering too much in there that makes it very complicated for people. So let's go into the conversion numbers. I'm just going to take another sip of my drink again. Okay, so here are some examples of conversion numbers for each of these offers for you. Your main offer, so your main bite-sized offer that's priced between $17 and $47. Below average would be less than a 1% conversion rate. Good would be between 1 and 3%, and the best would be 3% or above. Now, what do I mean by these percentages? I mean, if you have 100 people click to see your sales page, so your sales page loads and 100 people see that, below average would be if you only got 1 or less people buying. Good would be 1 to 3 people, and best would be 3 or more. So you can see here why it's super important that you get enough people seeing your offer. That traffic piece through either Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, huge amounts of organic traffic is really, really important. If you want to be making, a good chunk of sales every day, if you want to make 20 sales a day, you can see from these percentages here how many people need to be landing on your sales page. And that is why I explained the 2 different funnels for getting people to your bite-sized offer. Because for some people, if they're just running Facebook ads to cold traffic and straight to the sales page, it can take a considerable amount of time and money before you get, say, 1,000 people viewing that sales page for you to see, am I hitting those numbers? And 1,000 is the kind of sweet spot. You want to be seeing 1,000 people hit that sales page for you to be able to make a call on whether that's converting at the right amount. Anything less than that, you're kind of guessing. So say you've got 1,000 people that land on that sales page and you get 30 people buy, that offer is converting at a really great rate. If you only get, 3 people buy, then you're way below, and something needs to happen with either the offer or the sales page copy. So I hope that kind of explains conversion rates. If there's any kind of questions or anything doesn't seem clear, just ask me at the end. The next part is the bump order. Now your bump order actually convert, as you can see, at a higher percentage than people that would convert on your front end order. So the psychology behind this is once they've said yes to something, they're more likely to say yes to something else. And that bump order is helping them get to that problem, solve that problem quickly and more easily. So you want to be looking at 25% up is brilliant. 15 to 25% is good. And below 15%, you want to be tweaking that bump order to get it above that. So what I mean by that is 15% of the people that bought your first offer. So if you had 100 people buy the main offer, 15 to 25 of those people would buy your bump order for you to be in the good category, the good section. Then the upsell, you would be looking at, for a really good result, anywhere between 3 and 10%. So if 100 people bought your main offer, anywhere between 3 and 10 people buying your upsell would be good. And then if you do at some point introduce a downsell, anywhere between 5 or 10 people who didn't take you up on your upsell will buy your downsell. Of course, if they buy the upsell, they don't even see the downsell. So you're looking at 1 to 3% for your main offer, 15 to 25% for your bump, 3 to 10 for your upsell. Those are the key figures you need to remember. And I'm going to show you those in practice now with mine. So for Stories That Sell, it's been running for about 18 months. My conversion on my sales page is super, super high at 11%. So 11% of traffic that I get to that sales page buys my first offer. Then out of that 11%, 23.6% buy the bump order, 12.6% buy the email vault, and then another 12% buy the list building magic. These numbers are super important. So there was a stage where my bump order, the content explosion, was around 15%. I didn't change the offer. I had to change the copy. That copy in that small box was not compelling enough for people to buy. So for me to bump that order up, there was a few copy tweaks made. I think we've had about 4 iterations to get it in that 23.6% conversion. The email vault, the same. It is kind of at the top end, it's been like 15% conversion. The bottom end was about 8 or 9%. So again, there have been tweaks to the copy, moving the headline up, making the problem statement bolder and more painful. All these little things that happen along the way during your, the formulation and the launch of your bite-sized offer. So let's talk about average order values, because a lot of people go, how am I going to make money from this bite-sized offer. And as I've said to you, some people make a huge profit on it, and some people break even, but use it as a way to get free leads onto their list to sell their signature offer. Because usually if you're launching something, you're going to spend a long time list building before. And if you want to get your list into the thousands, which you know you need to sell your signature offer, then you're going to be paying for leads. So using a bite-sized offer means you don't pay for your leads because you liquidate that cost, or you make a profit. So if you're using a main offer, a bump order, and an upsell, and you start to hit those average benchmarks or just below, you can expect an average order value using those kind of figures that I've given you of around 47 to 55 US dollars. This number is really important. Knowing your average order value is super important because it helps you understand how much are you willing to pay to acquire a customer. If you're directing your prospects straight to a sales page without showing them a lead magnet or freebie first, and you want to break even, then you can't spend more than $47 to $55 to acquire a customer, and then you're just breaking even. But if your goal is to say 2x your profit directly from the bite-sized offer, which is possible, it's not possible for absolutely everybody, but it's been possible on my funnel, and I've seen it, happen for lots of people, then you don't want to spend any more than $25 to acquire a customer, because $25 is roughly half of the average order value. So those numbers are super, super important. Tracking them, looking at them, knowing what you need to tweak to increase those conversions, because 1 or 2% makes a massive difference on the average order value and what you can afford to spend on your leads. So let's look at the longer term impact. I'm going to give you an example here of using a lead magnet, such as your quiz or your freebie, and then on the thank you page, having your bite-sized offer. So let's say you spend $5,000 on ads to your freebie. So that is, you're spending $5,000 and you're getting your leads for $2 a lead. We're just going to kind of give that a rough number, which is fairly reasonable for, some kind of lead magnet or freebie. Can be more, can be a lot less, but let's go with 2 as a ballpark. So you've spent $5,000, you've paid $2 per lead to get people to download your freebie. So therefore you've got 2,500 leads. Now those 2,500 leads see that thank you page with your bite-sized offer. And 5% of them say yes to that $27 offer. So you've now made 100 sales. So if that average order value is $50, you've made $5,000, and therefore you've completely liquidated your ad costs. So you've acquired 2,500 leads for free. Now, you could have acquired those for $1 per lead, therefore it would have been profitable. You could have converted higher than 5%. You could have converted lower than 5%. But these figures show you how quickly you could build your email list with 2,500 leads for absolutely nothing. Now, out of those 2,500 leads, through your email sequences, you could gain 2 new one-to-one clients. So say in your email sequence, you talk about your one-on-one services, people book a call to speak to you, and you sell 2 services for $5,000. So now you've made $10,000. Then in the sequence, you launch your signature offer. Your signature offer costs, the investment is $1,000, and 1% of those 2,500 people convert. So now you've made $25,000, take off your ad costs, and your ROI is $35,000. That is much, much higher than it would be if you spent $5,000, $10,000 on ads, list building ads, just to a freebie and didn't offer them anything in between that freebie and your signature offer. Or you didn't offer them anything in that immediate stage that was bite-sized that enabled you to liquidate your ad cost. Because as I've said, not only have you liquidated your ad cost, so you've now got your leads for free, you could potentially launch your signature offer for $1,000 and convert at a much higher percentage. You could convert at 2%, 3% and end up making $60,000, $70,000 because those people have already experienced your brand. They've already experienced a transformation through your bite-sized offer. And it's now a much easier yes for your signature offer. So I hope those figures make sense to you. Again, any questions, just hold off to the end and I will answer them for you. Now let's talk about, we've done all the kind of nuts and bolts of how it all works. Let's talk about some kind of ideas for your bite-sized offer. Here's 8 different types of bite-sized offers that I've seen work really well and that you could create. Number 1 is a paid online workshop. Number 2 is a paid challenge. Number 3 could be a mini online course. Number 4 could be systems or processes that you use in your business that you sell. Number 5 is trackers or spreadsheets. Number 6, audits or diagnostics. 7, design templates or printables. And 8 is copy templates or scripts. So I'm going to take you through each one of these and give you an example. So paid online workshops. Many of you may have a webinar or a masterclass that you've run for free before. So you could do a paid webinar or workshop. You may not have created it yet. So you could actually launch it as live for your bite-sized offer. And then once you've recorded it, you turn it to evergreen. Or you could just launch it straight out the gate as a recording. So an example here on the right-hand side is how to get camera ready in 15 minutes or less. So it's aimed at, you know, busy mums, busy women running their own business who are live streaming and doing Facebook Lives, Instagram Lives, or video for their business, and how they can get camera ready in 15 minutes or less. It's a masterclass, and there's lots of different added extras, but essentially it's a paid online workshop. So there's plenty of things you could do for this. It could be something that you teach, the first step of your program. You could do this for so many different niches. I've seen it work in lots of different niches. And as I said, it could be something you've already done and already recorded. You already have that in your content arsenal. So it's just something that you can launch straight away as evergreen. You could launch it live and then use the recording, or you could launch it live, get some feedback, tweak it, re-record, and then launch that as your bite-sized offer. Number 2 is a paid challenge. So the example on the right here is Marley Jacks. I haven't taken her paid challenge, but I've heard she does very well with this. So she's got a 21-day challenge, which is $47. So it's revolutionizing your business with a new marketing strategy that teaches you how to leverage the power of video and generate leads for life. So I believe that she does 21 days, it's live, and it's $47. I'm not entirely sure what her bump order or upsells are, but I've seen paid challenges run successfully for niches like business, health, mindset, meditation, education, photography, so many different things as well. I've never done a paid challenge myself. The reason, and this is probably my mindset around it, I feel I would not generally do a paid challenge unless it was really, really specific around a very burning problem that I have. But I feel like it takes up too much time, and it means that I have to be somewhere on a certain day of the week. If it's running over 21 days, I have to have that date that she's got there, the 15th of February, free. I have to know that I'm going to be free for the next 21 days. And I prefer to do things at my own pace. So therefore, that's something that I have not run before because, you know, personally, I wouldn't buy it. Doesn't mean that it won't work well because I might not be her ideal customer. Number 3 is the mini online course. So one of my clients has the JJP method. She is a newborn photographer, but she, during COVID, obviously, with the whole kind of shutdown and lockdown, she has transitioned lots of her business to online, and she now teaches mums how to capture professional looking photos of their newborn from the comfort of their home without an expensive photographer, using nothing more than their phone and a few simple props. It's an absolutely great digital program. So she uses a freebie, which is a really quick guide on how to use your phone to capture really great photos. And then on her thank you page, she's got a timer for 48 hours, and she's got her offer that you can get for $37, and you get instant access. This has worked really well for her. She's got beautiful images and sales page. And it solves a really specific problem. Lots of people have been having babies over the past 12 months and really want to have a gorgeous photo shoot to capture those first days, those first weeks, those first months. They can't do that. And so she's shown them how they can do it at home. She gives, I think in her bump order, she's got some presets that help you tweak the light and make that look great. And then I think her final upsell might be some of the editing suites that she uses and showing you how to edit them and how to print them and how to turn them into, gifts, etc. Number 4 is the systems or processes bite-sized offer. Again, hugely popular. This one is Grow Your Business with Trello from the girls at Boss Project. So it's basically a system that teaches you how to use Trello to organize your business. So they give you copy and paste boards and tutorials on how to systemize your own business. It's such a problem for people who run their own creative business to actually manage all the systems and processes, right? Like, what do I do each day? Where do I store things? Now, yes, lots of people use different project management software, but this particular program gives you boards that you copy and paste. These are how you set out daily tasks, weekly tasks. This is what you might delegate to your team. So it's a really simple system or process. You could do this in so many different niches. You could have one for, high school students studying a study system. You could have a process again for photography. You could have a process for content management. You could have a process for meditation. You could have so many different systems or processes that you could sell. And I know it sounds like it might be a no-brainer to you that you have this in your business, but you wouldn't believe, like I had someone the other day, I was just taking them through my ClickUp app that I use with my team. All our team are in there and we have all our systems in there. We have our systems for monthly marketing. We have our systems for launches. We have our daily activities. We have upcoming. And that's how we communicate on the daily as well. And they're like, oh my gosh, I would buy this off you just to implement this in my own business. So don't overlook what might seem simple to you. Number 5, another really popular one, is trackers or spreadsheets. And I have bought one of these before, which was, I think it was to do with sales conversions, tracking for challenges, Facebook challenges or something. I can't entirely remember what it was, but I did use the spreadsheet. It was really invaluable. One of my clients, Amelia Lee, has a how to set and stick to your budget spreadsheet and tracker. So she runs a business and a brand called The Undercover Architect, and she teaches people who are renovating or building their own home how to do it without the stress of running over budget. So she has a master program, a signature program. I think it's priced around $1,400 or $1,900, which takes them through every step they need to know when it comes to renovating or building. But one of the biggest things that people stumble with right at the very beginning, and it's the thing that can cost them a huge amount of money, is how do I create a budget, set and stick to this budget for all the different aspects that are involved in renovating or building my home? How do I know how much I should be paying contractors? How much meat or buffer do I have to put in a budget for when things might not happen on time or things go wrong? And it really panics people. People generally don't like to look at that nitty-gritty side. So she gives you all her checklists, all her spreadsheets and trackers, so you can get off to the great start. And then obviously that opens a loop then to her next step and her next program. Number 6 is audits or diagnostics. So you could have, and I've seen this done really successfully as well, a paid quiz or a paid audit. People could take an assessment, or you could have your free quiz, and the outcome that they get could be a paid guide or a paid mini course. So for example, I'm looking at the moment at doing this with my archetypes. It's been in development for months, and we just, as with many business owners, get too busy and it's still not finished. But I have a brand archetype assessment. On the back of that, I'm about to launch brand archetype guide. So at the moment, people get shown their results and they get shown which archetype they are. And we're going to introduce a mini program, which then takes people through the marketing steps for their specific archetype, how to copyright if you're an explorer archetype, what kind of offers you should launch, what you should do on social media. So you could do this with any type of quiz or assessment that you have. If someone comes out with a certain result, you could have a really easy guide or mini course as your bite-sized offer. the uptake on something like that on the back of a quiz, I would estimate would be much higher than your 5%, because you have diagnosed their problem through your quiz, and then you're giving them a solution to that problem at a no-brainer price. So you could be up like 7 to 10% with that kind of conversion on an audit or diagnostic. Number 7 could be design templates or printables. So these, again, I love. I'm always buying them because I love design templates in my business. I love making things easier. Canva templates, you know, workbook templates. I've bought them for DIY and crafts from Pinterest. I bought my daughter the other day how to do DIY mandalas, all sorts of different things for crafts. There's so many ideas for design templates or printables that you could use as a bite-sized offer, and they sell like gangbusters. And then the final one is the copy templates or scripts. So scripts for how to negotiate a pay rise, how to handle an interview, how to discuss something difficult with your partner or family. It could be for absolutely anything. This one on the right here, I haven't bought it, but it's a screen grab that I've got from the Perfect Sales Script. So how to have a conversation to enroll high ticket clients without pressure or selling. So you've got 8 different ideas there for all the different types of bite-sized offers. Now, if you don't have digital products currently in your business, think about what will prepare somebody to work with you. Say you're a photographer and you focus on personal branding. You could have a bite-sized offer which is around personal branding. It could be anything from, you know, color guides to style guides to how to confidently appear on camera. You could put together a whole guide, and then your upsell could be a one-on-one session with you, or it could be a bite-sized mini session with you, or you could have a really simple bite-sized offer, and then the next stage could be a $197 or a $97 diagnostic or audit with you. I know that clients of mine have done that. They've had as their second step a brand audit, a marketing audit, a business finance audit. So there's lots of ways to work this if you don't currently have digital programs or products, and you are more of a service-based business. There is no reason that this kind of thing can't work for your business. Okay, let's get into the tech. Now, I'm not going to dive really, really deeply into this because everybody has different tech in their business. There are so many different platforms that we all use that to kind of dive into how to use every single one would probably, well, it would explode my brain and yours, and we'd be here for the next 3 days. But I will take you through the essentials that you need for a bite-sized offer. Okay, so number 1, you need some kind of landing page software. So if you have a freebie or you have your sales page for your bite-sized offer, you might use WordPress, Lead Pages, Instapages, ClickFunnels, Simplero, Kajabi. I've highlighted here, I use Kartra. I use them for my landing page. You then need some kind of CRM system. So obviously you need to capture an email address, and then you need to be able to email people with either a link to where they can download the materials that they've bought, or to a membership site where they can watch the videos and download the materials. And you also obviously need to have a nurture sequence for those people that may have abandoned cart, and a nurture sequence for people that you want to upsell to your next offer. So there's free options like MailChimp, there's ConvertKit, ActiveCampaign, Infusionsoft, Simplero, Kajabi. Again, I use Kartra. I use them for my landing pages, and I use them for my CRM system. The third thing that you need is a shopping cart. So lots of the lead pages now have shopping carts integrated with them. Sorry, just taking another sip of my water. So ClickFunnels, Kajabi, Simplero, Kartra, they all have shopping carts integrated in them, but there's also Samcart and Thrivecart. I originally used Kartra as my shopping cart for the first maybe 6 or 7 months of my funnel. The one thing I couldn't do with Kartra was I couldn't take PayPal and Stripe payments if I had a bump order. I could take Stripe and PayPal if I just had one offer, but when people added in the next offer, it only gave them the option to use Stripe. And I got feedback from so many people saying, I don't, use my credit card. I just want to use PayPal. And so I moved after 6 months to Thrivecart. So my sales page is still on Kartra, but when they click that buy now button, it opens up a Thrivecart shopping cart. You then need either a course platform such as Teachable, Thinkific, MemberVault. I use MemberVault. Again, Kartra has an all-in-one, Kajabi does, or ClickFunnels. Or maybe you're just delivering them a download. So you don't necessarily need this. You might be delivering your program by email. You could be delivering it as a digital download. But if you're delivering video, or if you're delivering maybe an online masterclass, again, if you have an online masterclass, it could just be embedded into a WordPress or a lead page. The fifth thing is a payment gateway. So it could be PayPal, Stripe, or Apple Pay. I take PayPal and Stripe. The sixth thing is design. So obviously anything for the design of your sales page, mock-ups of your product, which are essential to help sell your program and give people like a really good visual representation of what it's going to look like and what they're getting. I use Canva. I don't know how to use Photoshop, and my team use Canva. I use iMovie if I'm editing videos, or ScreenFlow if I'm recording. And then finally, ads. As I've said, traffic is super important. So Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube, Google, LinkedIn, any of those sources are great for traffic. And I think I have just about covered all the essentials of how to create a bite-sized digital product to build your brand. So I will now ask if you have any questions. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, Nikki. Absolutely. I got a question. Oh, lots of questions actually, but with your advertising, besides Facebook, are you doing sort of remarketing? Are you using Google as well?
Yeah, so at the moment I started out with just Facebook. And when I started with Facebook, I started with a really low budget as well. So I did two kind of split tests. I did an ad that went to my quiz, and then on the thank you page was the stories that sell. And then I did an ad that went straight to stories that sell. So you may have seen both of those. I started with low budgets for each of them, and then scaled gradually as I started to get good results. Obviously, I was testing copy and testing creative and seeing what worked best before I started to scale. Then when we had Facebook pumping and working well, I started to use Pinterest and Google ads as well. So I do a bit on both. We do some retargeting and some remarketing through Google, and Pinterest. We've just started doing conversion campaigns in the last maybe 3 to 6 months with Pinterest, which are also working quite well.
Right. And what's sort of your level of expertise on the ads, or is that something that you really have someone who specializes in that?
I do all my ads myself.
Do you delegate a lot?
I have used Facebook ads managers in the past. I have definitely used them. I've always felt with myself that I needed to understand where my money was going, and by just putting it into the hands of somebody else entirely and not knowing it myself made me feel completely out of control. So money could be burnt through and I wouldn't understand why. So I have done a few Facebook ads courses, and now I'm a member of a Facebook ads mastermind. So I do my own ads, and I've also got experts that help me with ads as well.
Yeah, okay, that's great. And then so this is where you said there's so many options with the tech, but I've used some ClickFunnels and ActiveCampaign, but was looking at, is it worth switching over to Kartra? It might be a bit of a saving, but then I didn't realize that you couldn't do PayPal through that. So
you can do PayPal, but you can't if you're doing, well, I say you can't, maybe you can now. You couldn't if you had that bump order and a one-click upsell. You couldn't do it with PayPal and with Stripe. It just had to be one or the other. So I felt like I was missing out on lots of sales Thrivecart I've used because it became highly recommended. It's a one-time price. It's like you buy it and that's it for life. You're not doing a monthly subscription. So Samcart I think is like $99 a month and that's ongoing. Whereas Thrivecart I think is around $500-ish, but that's your kind of lifetime. You're done and you can have, you know, as many shopping carts as you need. It talks nicely to Facebook with the pixels. It tracks everything, you know, really well for me. It's good analytics and it's got good customer service. So those have been the benefits with Thrivecart. Look, Kartra, I'm still with because it's really difficult once you've built your list to a significant amount to move to something else. I moved my membership halfway through. So originally I had my membership on Kartra, but we were having loads of issues with people not being able to get in with their password. And when they were trying to reset their password, it wouldn't send them the reset. And Kartra doesn't have a way for you to manually override that as the owner of the membership platform. So I couldn't go in there and say, I've changed your password to 123 Nikki. I couldn't do that for them. So we ended up just with so many issues with people. Once we got to a really high volume of people, it was just causing us, you know, hours and hours of headaches. So we moved to MemberVault, which has been really seamless and simple. People can reset their password. Their initial password is just given as their email address. That's how MemberVault do it as standard. So it's really easy. If people can't get in, it's easy to see why. We can go in the back end and we can see what password they've put in. And quite often they've missed a letter out of their email address. So again, I found that really handy. The more tech you have, the more integrations you've got to have. So we use Zapier to talk between all the different pieces. I originally set it up myself, but now I've got someone in my team that does all that for me. It's not overly complicated, but the thing is, I don't think anyone would say that there's one all-in-one solution that is seamless and brilliant for everything. Everybody I speak to in the online world has their love and hate about different things. You know, Kajabi seems to be very, very popular, but it's also very expensive. You know, I know people.
Yeah, I love MemberVault. I've been using MemberVault and it's been really good.
Yeah.
And it's great for getting started on as well.
Scaling as well with, you know, the amount of members you've got, your price is going up, but you're not spending on something, you know, at a really high price when you don't have the numbers in the beginning. And that's the issue, right? You want to have something that grows with you as you grow, but you aren't spending $1,000 a month on software when you're in the, you know, you're only just selling a few courses. Because those prices, you know, my software expenses are super high now because we've got, you know, 40,000 people on our email list and, you know, 25,000 members. So it gets to that point where you're spending a lot, and that's okay because we can do that consistently. But the most important thing for me was, does it work well? Can you get customer service really easily? Does it talk to other things? Because we had a few issues. I would say that Kartra's customer service has been less than sparkling in my opinion. Like we've had a few struggles with them. But now for me to change all my landing pages over to something else would be really emails, and like, you know, we've got probably 22 different email sequences in there. To change all that would be a huge expense, and there's a chance that a lot of things go wrong. So we're sticking with it for now, and they are improving as time goes on. They definitely are improving. So you just need to be careful that you don't choose something that you can't grow with. Yeah, because it's painful to move halfway through.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, I've been using ClickFunnels and I was considering shifting to Kartra, but maybe it's really equivalent pricing, and active campaigns been okay, although I probably need a bit of help with that. And what about you've got number 6 there for design for Canva. Is that another area that you delegate to a designer, or is it something that you do spend time on in Canva?
We do a bit of both. So we outsource some
kind of rough some things up and send it out.
A bit of both. So I've got in my team now, I've got someone who does like all our social media graphics, etc. In the early stages, I did everything myself, but it's a bit of both now. I've got some we do in-house in our team, and then sometimes we'll outsource, you know, video or more flashy graphics to graphic designers. There is it called Pixel Me? I'll drop the link somewhere in the Facebook group. There is a really good service that I heard about recently that a few people use, which is called like Pixel Me or something. I can't remember what it is, but it's like it's a bit like Upwork or Fiverr, but a higher quality. And you can buy a package which gets you a certain amount per month, and then you have like a graphic designer on hand that will do those things for you for a kind of set.
Yeah, I think that's what it's called. I heard someone mention that actually. Yeah, and it's just a monthly out. You get so many hours and get a package. Yeah, okay.
I know a lot of Facebook ad managers
really
use it because I think they have lots of clients that they're doing the Facebook ad creative for, so it makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's really great. Well, you've given me definitely lots to think about what's going to be the logical kind of step, and then really narrowing down that first problem. So it's the most painful point, and that I can give them a result on that. And I think what you said about the quiz, because the quiz I think will be awesome. So I might focus on doing the quiz into a little mini course based on their diagnosis.
Yeah, I think the quiz, because you're diagnosing something for people and you're kind of then saying, well, this is the solution. It's a really natural lead in to selling a bite-sized offer that relates to that. So, you know, I did my brand story quiz and then said, oh, well, if you want to tell really great stories, here's stories that sell. So it made sense for people to buy that afterwards. So if you've got your archetypes and then you have got something, you know, don't overcomplicate it. You could have, like we've been doing this with our archetype guides. We've got a structure for them. And yes, it's almost like a template, and there's a structure that we're following for every single one with the same sections. And then what goes into those sections will be a different flavor. But we got one done first. And then we were like, okay, this is good. This is what content, okay, this is what can be duplicated across all of them. This is what needs to be individual. So you can do something really similar. But I think that people, for them, it's a no-brainer to spend like $27 or $37 once they've found out their outcome.
Great. So I just got to, that's good. I'll just sort of work out, you know, how much to include and not to overcomplicate it, but to give them just that excellent value so they get a result still. Yeah.
And you can have your upsell as a 30-minute session with you or something. You could, you know, if you're happy to do something under the $100 mark or whatever, or you could, there's lots of different ways in which you can channel those people into your one-on-one further down the track. I think the key for me is you get it in front of as many people as possible. You've got more people then that will go into your higher priced offer, more people that have already said yes. Your brand is more visible and you've built that trust and connection because you've helped them solve a problem already, rather than going in completely cold. It just gives you that, it shortcuts that whole relationship really quickly. And I found that, you know, people, my ideal customers are the people that have really loved that bite-sized offer, and they're in all different stages of business. Some people are really advanced, some people are just starting out, but either way, they're kind of growing along with me in my business, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's great. I think a friend recommended you, and then I went, did your quiz, went straight into stories that sell. I think I bought the bump, I bought the upsell, and yeah, they're great value. And I'm still going back over that info. So that was excellent.
Oh, awesome. Well, if you've got any more questions, just throw them up in the Facebook group. I'll put the recording up in to Member Vault. It'll probably take a couple of hours to download and re-upload in there, but I'll do that. And then I'm sure other people will have questions as well. So maybe we can answer some of those on the call this week.
Fantastic. Thank you. Perfect.
Take care. See you later.
Okay. Thanks, Nikki.
Bye.
Bye.